and 1320.
Yeah, he's James. I'm Kyle. Joe Brazil's over there. We got a fake trade, an insider's fake trade here. These are trades because we love a fake trade. These are trades that we make up off the top of our heads.
Yep.
James has an internal trade machine because he's way better with the numbers than I am. I go to an actual trade machine and I click around until I find a trade that works. But we're just talking about a report that the Raptors are going to put R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley and a bunch of other stuff on the table to try and land Kevin Durant. Your trade does not involve Kevin Durant, but it does involve the Toronto Raptors, who, according to a report from our buddy Jake Fisher, the Raptors are willing to part with Emmanuel Quickley or R.J. Barrett for a significant roster upgrade. He said they'd only move Jakob Poeltl in a Kevin Durant trade, but then he also reported separately that the Raptors are looking for a big man in this year's draft.
Mm-hmm.
We put all those pieces together, and we have today's Insider's Fake Trade brought to you by our buddy James M.
All right. I don't like this trade because I'm just going to
good start.
preface it with that. I don't like this trade because I am not on the trade Domantas Sabonis wagon.
Yes.
That our friend Kenny Caraway is.
Right.
Like I don't have
and lots of other people.
I don't have a trade Domas shirt printed or anything. But I do see a way in which, it would make sense in some way, shape, or form. So my fake trade of the day is Domas, Devin Carter to the Raptors for Emmanuel Quickley, Jakob Poeltl, and the number 9 pick. And the reason why I think the Kings do this trade,
please, because this seems like I'm surprised that this is the trade you included Domas in. So please explain.
Yeah, because first of all, I think Quickley is a player who can. I don't think he's a true point guard, but he's a point guard. He's more of a scoring guard, but he's also a good defensive player. He's physical. He plays a style that the Kings need, and I think he would fit alongside Zach LaVine, right?
Okay.
Poeltl gives you the replacement at the center position, at least, for the next 2 seasons. I don't think he's a all-world center, but I do think he's definitely a starting level NBA center, and brings something different than Domas. But then sort of the key add-on to this, because, of course, the Raptors are getting the best player in this deal.
Yes.
I don't think there's any question about that.
Nope.
Domas is the best player in this deal. That's why they're giving up the number 9 pick. And again, Poeltl's 29 years old. He'll be 30 in October.
Quickley's 26 today.
Yeah. Okay.
Happy birthday to future Sacramento King Emmanuel Quickley.
Well, that, and people have to remember that Scott Perry didn't just draft R.J. Barrett in New York. He also the next season drafted Emmanuel Quickley. And I think there are deals in which you could try, if the Kings were to try to get both R.J. Barrett and Quickley. I don't know that that the Raptors are 100% convinced that that's their core moving forward. I think they're shifting their core to guys like Scotty Barnes, and guys like Brandon Ingram, and trying to do something different. But this is just, again, if we're going to come up with fake trades, this is one that to me would make a little bit of sense, especially Poeltl averages 1.3 blocks per game for his career.
He's a starting NBA center.
Yeah, he's a very good rebounder. I wouldn't say a great rebounder, but 29.6 minutes per game. He averaged 9.6 rebounds per game, 2.8 assists. He's not a horrible passer. He's not Domas. You're not going to be able to run the offense through him. But he's a very competent player. And, again, a tandem of Valanciunas and Poeltl actually makes a lot of sense. But I don't know that if we're coming up with fake trades, and so many people are intrigued with the idea of trading Domas, this is something that would make some sense.
The Oklahoma City Thunder actually technically picked Emmanuel Quickley, which is kind of insane. But they might have done so for the Knicks. I don't know.
Yeah, there was a trade that day. The Knicks made the move to go get him.
Yeah, it was executed on November 20th. But Oklahoma City also, I did not know this, traded Jaden McDaniels in that same deal. That's so wild.
Yeah.
Just the number of good players that just get connected.
When was the deal finished?
November 20.
Okay.
This is the 2020 draft. So he got drafted on November 18th. The deal got executed November 20th.
Yeah. Crazy. So, yeah, that was the deal where the Knicks moved to go
to go get.
Actually, the Kings loved Quickly at that point. And there was hope that he would actually fall to them in the early second round.
Well, cool. It can come full circle now.
Yeah, and then he just jumped up on the last day. His stock jumped up, and good player.
Toronto's in such a weird spot, dude.
They always are.
Yeah, I don't. There's this idea that they think they're going to go get Kevin Durant and compete for a title
in 1 year. We got Durant, we're going to win a title and then we're going to lose him the next year, and we'll move on.
Yeah, I don't. So are you trading Scotty Barnes at that point? Like Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram are a weird fit. I don't get it at all.
Yeah.
And if they want to give up Emmanuel quickly, I've talked about Jamal Shed before. If they're interested in giving him up, that's another player I would take a flyer on, not for a deal like this. But I like the Quickly and Pirtle idea a lot, especially since you're getting a top 10 pick back too in this year's draft.
Yeah.
And we've talked about, if you're trading Domas, you're not fully rebuilding, but you're doing a pretty significant reset of your roster. And I think Quickly is a 26-year-old point guard who you're handing the ball to on day one and saying you're the point guard here.
Yeah.
And you feel pretty good about that. Like you said, it's a decent fit next to Zach LaVine. And then you're also getting a top 10 pick that you can use to maybe try and find a star. Maybe you find a player that because I was reading Mark Stein today, or excuse me, Jake Fisher on Mark Stein's Substack, where he talked about it's Dylan Harper 2 and Cooper Flag 1, and then everything else inside the top 10 is a massive question mark. Yeah. And maybe a player falls to you that you weren't expecting to, and now all of a sudden you've got this developing star on your hands with a reset underway. I almost said rebuild again. I feel like that's a scary word. Saying rebuild.
Yeah. Well, it's just I just don't think it's going to happen in Sacramento.
Yeah, I think this is and you're looking to thread that needle, right? Between, and I think this is what the Kings are doing, between a full teardown and a competing for a championship this year, or competing for a championship in the next few years. I think this allows them to thread that needle. Where, okay, you're resetting your roster by moving on from Domas, but you're giving yourself the tools to be good in the very near future if you play your cards right.
Yeah, and I know in the chat, right, we've got like LL Cool Ray says getting rid of Sabonis is addition by subtraction at this point. The one thing I agree with KC on. I disagree 100%. Getting rid of Sabonis is not addition by subtraction. I mean, the dude is an absolute warrior who leads the NBA in rebounding every year.
He tries really hard.
Yeah, he shows up, and not only that, he plays through injuries. Like, most of us thought he was done for the year when he got hurt late last year. Showed up like 3 days later and was like, "Oh no, we're in a race. We got to try to get there," and kept playing. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, he doesn't look right." It's like, yeah, he doesn't look right. He's hurt, but he keeps playing because that's who he is. So, like for me, like, look, we're talking about a top 20 player in the NBA in Sabonis. Like, you can say whatever you want. You can mix it up and change it, whatever you want. Like, he's still a top 20 player in the NBA.
I don't fully disagree, but I also, you're not competing for a championship as long as you have Domas. And I don't know that that's a Domas issue. I just think it's where the Kings roster is, where, okay, you got to move on and you got to reset and you got to do something different. Like the Domas thing, you were close. You were really, really close 2 years ago. And then they fumbled the bag. That's why the front office isn't here anymore. And now, to me, I am of the belief that you put yourself in a better position moving forward by doing the type of trade that you laid out. rather than just being like, yeah, hey, we got him.
Okay, so I would agree that today you're not winning an NBA championship with the way that the Kings roster is structured with Domantas Sabonis. But Domantas Sabonis could easily go somewhere else and win an NBA championship. The fact that
Yeah,
the
I think
Kings are in
so.
the situation that they're in has nothing to do with Domas. It has everything to do with a bad trade. It has everything to do with trading a point guard for a shooting guard and then not having a way to move forward.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
meant.
Yeah.
It's not. I wouldn't call it a Domas problem as much as it is a hey. When you're looking at what the Kings have
Mhm.
and what they have available to them and the moves that they can or will make, I don't think that they're getting there with Domas on their roster.
Well, I mean,
He
it's
might go
possible.
elsewhere and win a title.
It's possible that you're right. It's also possible that they make moves that make the roster make sense and get right back into this thing. I the likelihood of that happening. I don't know, but I certainly wouldn't just like close the door on the Kings being, a playoff contender or being able to build a championship type contender because Domas is on the roster. It doesn't help that he makes a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
but good players make a lot of money.
Sure.
Like it's
Yeah, it's just kind of the reality.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's the reality of the situation. So
I have a question. Speaking of centers,
mhm.
this has nothing to do with any reports. This was just me being over caffeinated this morning. Would you
Uh-oh.
this has got into my brain when reading about the draft and how the inflection point is the Sixers at number 3. Because nobody's really sure what Philly's doing at number 3.
Yep.
So would you take on Joel Embiid's contract? Joel Embiid and his contract. If they tacked on the number 3 pick, which I don't think they would do. Now, again, we try and deal with reality here. Joel Embiid, when he's healthy, is one of the 3 best players in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
I'm operating in this hypothetical, in this fake thing that I'm making up. I'm operating that the Sixers are going, hey, you know what? Joel's knee is not going to get better. And we really don't think we're going to get more than like 30 games out of him the rest of his career. 30 games a year out of him the rest of his career. There might be one run left, but we really don't think we can build around him. We think getting out from under his contract would be the better move. In that event, if they tack on the number 3 pick, would you take Joel Embiid's contract?
It's really tough. I mean, you have got to, if you were going to do this, right, you have got to be fully on board with Ace Bailey being a superstar or being a star.
Or whoever you're taking 3, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, the way the draft is going to go, it's going to go Flag, it's going to go Dylan Harper. And most people believe it's going to go Ace Bailey, number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you think Ace Bailey can be a star or superstar, at least an all-star level player, then sure. Especially the fact that he's like draft age is 18.9 years old. So, okay, I would
crazy.
jump in. But the contract on Embiid is 55. 50,
it is a insane contract.
Yeah, 55, 59.5, 64.3, and 69 million over the next 4 years. I mean,
which is fine if Joel Embiid's healthy, but there's just no reason to believe at this point. Like he was dealing with injury stuff at the end of 2 seasons ago, went and played in the Olympics, and then this year played in 19 games. Across the last 2 years, he's played in 58 regular season games. He hasn't played more. He's played more than 65 games twice in his career, and it was the 21-22 season and the 22-23 season. He played 68 and 66. 68 is his career high in games played.
Oof.
Now, granted, again, he's one of the 3 best players in the sport when he plays more than 65 games.
Yep.
He's going to be in the MVP conversation if he plays 65 plus games.
But the chance of him ever getting to that, I mean, it's crazy because the injury started with him before he was even in the league.
Yeah, and he turned 31 this year.
Yeah. I mean, he's a 7-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, 3-time defensive player.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, All-NBA defender. He's a stud, but you just have to look at that contract and say, like, man, you are pinning everything to injuries and to that number 3 pick developing into a star. If he does not develop into a star, you basically sunk your franchise for 4 years.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
even then, when you're gonna have to keep paying him, and then when you get to some point, you're gonna have to pay Ace Bailey if he's a star too.
Mhm.
And then how do you build a team around him, not knowing if he's going to be there every night?
I think I want no parts of that contract.
Yeah.
Even if now again the scenario where he comes to the Kings and it's like, oh hey, he got healthy and he played a bunch of games and they led the Kings to the play. If that scenario is really on the table, Philly's not moving him.
No.
The only way Philly's moving him if they go, this knee thing is degenerative. He's not going to play this year. We're not even sure when he's going to be back in 26, 27.
Mm-hmm.
That's the scenario I'm talking about here, where you're basically like, you're just eating a bunch of money.
Yeah, I mean, basically you're talking 30+% of the salary cap forever.
And it would be, and to be clear, in that scenario, it'd be the number 3 pick and other stuff.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have to give them contracts as well to match that contract going out.
Jesus.
So, yeah, whether it's, Zach LaVine or, and then tacking on another 10 million plus to make the dollars and cents work. Yeah, that would be, it's an interesting discussion because he is great. And, it reminds me of like the Devers trade, right? So the Giants go get Devers, but the difference is Devers is making roughly like, 12, 15% of the salary cap. If there is a true salary cap in baseball, which there's not.
Right.
But you're looking at a $30 million deal forever for 8 years, right? 200, would they owe him 250 million over 30 years, so like 31 a year. Like, I would much rather take on 8 years of something that, at least he's going to fade. He probably won't live up to it in the last like 3 years, but at least you're going to get 5 years. With Embiid, you have no idea if you're getting anything out of him at all. Like, he could literally just Ralph Sampson you, and you're stuck paying for him every year, even though he doesn't play.
There's a better chance that he only plays 82 games combined over the duration of his deal than he plays 82 games in a season.
Oh, there's a way better chance. He's never played 82.
I should have said like 75.
Yeah, even if you were to drop it as a 65, there's probably a better chance that he'll never play, that he won't play 82 combined. Now, again, he could come back and figure it out, but, the Kings.
I hope so, man. He's awesome player.
Yeah, and during the 88-89 season, or during the offseason, the Kings traded for Ralph Sampson and then gave him a contract, and he played 51 games for the Kings in 2 years, and then 10 more games for Washington on the way out the door. And, again, this is a time where teams didn't have any money, and the NBA wasn't what it was today. But, they owed him like 2.1, 2.2, 2.7, and 2.7. That's a deal they signed to. So it was like a 4-year, $10 million deal, which was astronomical at that point in the NBA, and just sunk their franchise. I mean, you got to remember that the Kings, like 5 years earlier, were purchased for $12 million.
Yeah, they're paying this guy 10.
And they paid him 10 over 4 years, and he played 25 games or 51 combined games.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Not good.
I don't know. Like I said, that's not a thing that's necessarily on the table. I don't think Philly even wants to move Joel Embiid. If they did, I don't think